Hey everyone, so we're finally at the end of the Coast Pros part of the Monocolor Team series, and we're going to end it with the last unit for Coast Pro, which is CrazyB. CrazyB has very good and interesting team comps compared to all of the other units. It also has some of the weirdest time links between some cards, especially Rene, which a lot of people used to call Happy Element's least favorite character because time link between his White Tiger card and his FS2 card, which was really long. And then you have Kohaku, which is Happy Element's favorite child, that seem to have a lot more cards than people expect. And then one thing to note is that one card I will not be talking about is Rene's Chinese New Year card, because that was only exclusive to China and Taiwan as of now, and I do not see it coming to our server at all. So that will not be added to the video. Okay, and then lastly, we'll be going through the same color order, which is going to be red, blue, yellow, then green. Okay, but with that, let's just go ahead and start. So for CrazyB's Red Team, for Rene, we're going to talk about two cards. Rene's first red card is going to be his Feature Scout card, and that scout has already happened, and those cards are already in the general pool. And the main set of this card is Dance. And then for Rene's second card is going to be his solo event card for Crazy Anthem, and that event hasn't happened in our server, and it will be a while until that event happens on these dates. And the main set of this card is Performance. And then for Hima's red cards, we're going to talk about two for him as well. The first one is going to be for his solo event, which was Ariane's Fingertips event, and that event has happened recently for us, and those cards will be added to Momorcoin shop in the future. And the main set of this card is Vocal. And then Hima's second red card will be his Bunny New Year's card, and that Gacha Scout hasn't happened yet and will happen during these dates. And the main set of this card is Dance. And then for Kohaku's red card, his red card is his Feature Scout card, and that scout hasn't happened yet but will be happening soon on these dates. And the main set of this card is Vocal. And then lastly, for Nikki's red card, his red card is going to be his Panda card, and that gacha hasn't happened yet in our server and will happen during these dates. And the main set of this card is Performance. So for an overview of the red team, it's very interesting because they have a 2 out of 4 team for every single main stat, the dance team being FS Rene and Bunny Himadu, the vocal team being Himadu's solo event card and Kohaku's FS, and then the performance team being Rene's solo event card and Panda Nikki. It's very interesting. I don't really see this much in a lot of unit cards or unit team comps. The only issue I can see with this is the fact that none of the cards have only gacha or only event cards, so pretty much you're going to need some luck or some money to get some of these cards. Okay, but that's it for the red team. Let's talk about the blue team. So for CrazyB's blue team, Rene's blue card will be for his White Tiger Scout, and that event scout has not happened yet and will happen during these dates. And the main set of this card is Vocal. And then Hima's blue card is his Feature Scout card, and that scout has already happened and is already in the general pool. And the main set of this card is Performance. And then for Kohaku's blue cards, we're going to talk about two. The first one is going to be his tour event card for Antique, and that tour event has already happened, and those cards will be added to the Momorcoin shop in the near future. And the main set of this card is Performance. And then Kohaku's second card will be for his solo event for Double Face, and that's going to be No Name, and that event hasn't happened yet and will happen during these dates. And the main set of this card is Dance. And then for Nikki's blue cards, we're actually going to talk about two for him as well. The first one is going to be his solo event for Honeycomb Summer, and that event has happened already and will be added to the Momorcoin shop in the future. And the main set of this card is Performance. And then Nikki's second blue card is his Feature Scout 2 card, and that scout hasn't happened yet and will happen during these dates. And the main set of this card is Dance. So for an overview of the blue team, there is a good 3 out of 4 main stat team, which is going to be their performance main stat team of FS Himadu, Antique Kohaku, and Honeycomb Nikki. And sort of the good news about this one is that 2 out of the 3 are events, so it's more accessible to some people, and the fact that all 3 cards are already available in our server. If you happen to get Nikki's event and Kohaku's event card already, then you have the chance of getting all 3 cards currently. And then outside of that, we also have a dance main stat team, and that's going to be No Name Kohaku and FS2 Nikki. And through all of this, unfortunately, Rene is the one left out. Okay, but that is it for the blue team. Next, let's talk about the yellow team. Okay, for CrazyB's yellow team, for Rene's yellow cards, we're going to talk about 2 cards. The first one is going to be his initial card, and initial cards have been in the game since the beginning, and it's already in the standard pool. And the main set of this card is Performance. And then Rene's second yellow card is his Shuffle Flambe card, and that event hasn't happened yet and will happen during these dates. And the main set of this card is Dance. And then for Hima's yellow card, his yellow card is for his tour event, which is is Obligato, and that tour event hasn't happened yet and will happen during these dates. And the main stat of this card is Performance. And then for Kohaku's yellow cards, we have two cards to talk about. The first one is going to be Kohaku's B Gacha card, and that scout has already happened and is already in the standard pool. And the main stat of this card is Dance. And then Kohaku's second yellow card will be for his solo event for CrazyB, which is Spider Kohaku, and that event hasn't happened yet in our server and will happen during these dates. And the main stat of this card is Vocal. And then lastly, for Nikki's yellow card, he has two cards to talk about as well. The first one is going to be his Sweet Hunt Gacha card, and that Gacha scout has already happened in our server and it's already in the standard pool. And the main stat of this card is Dance. And then his second card is going to be for his tour event, which is a summer tour event, which I just like to call Summer Nikki. And this tour event hasn't happened yet in our server and it will be a while until this happens on these dates. And the main stat of this card is Vocal. Okay, and that's it for the yellow team. And the yellow team surprisingly also has a 3 out of 4 main stat, with a Dance main stat with Flambe Rine, B Kohaku, and Sweet Hunt Nikki. And this is sort of the opposite of the blue team, where 2 out of 3 are from Gacha and one of them is from an event. So it's going to be a little harder to get. You just need to be a bit lucky. But you also have a lot of time because Flambe Rine is pretty far for us for right now. So if you happen to get them before it, that would be great. But then the yellow team also has 2 other team comps with 2 out of 4. The first one being for Vocal with Spire Kohaku and Summer Tour Nikki, which are both event cards. So that's a great team comp right there. And then Performance main stat with Initial Rine and Obligato Himeru. Okay, but that's it for yellow team. Lastly, let's talk about the green team. So for CrazyB's green team, for Rine's green cards, there's 2 cards to talk about. The first one's going to be for his tour event, which was Nightclub. And that tour event has already happened and those cards are already in the Memorial Coin Shop. And the main stat of this card is Vocal. And then the second card is his Feature Scout 2 card. And that scout hasn't happened yet and will happen during these dates. And his main stat is Performance. And then for Hime's green card, his green card will be for his romantic Gacha scout. And that scout hasn't happened yet in our server and will happen during these dates. And the main stat of this card is Dance. And then for Kohaku's green cards, we're going to talk about 2 green cards for Kohaku. And the first one is going to be his tour event card, which is SS Arc Tour 6th stage. And that tour event hasn't happened yet and will happen during these dates. And the main stat of this card is Performance. And then Kohaku's second card is going to be his limited card for the foreign servers, and that's going to be the Secret Swan Scout. And for our server, we don't have a set date for it yet, but we know it's going to be sometime in September. And the main stat of this card is Vocal. And then lastly, for Nikki's green card, his green card is going to be for his Feature Scout card, and that scout hasn't happened yet and will happen during these dates. And the main stat of this card is Vocal. Okay, and for the green team, there is a 3 out of 4 for this team as well, and that's going to be the Vocal main stat team of Nightclub Rine, Secret Swan Kohaku, and Feature Scout Nikki. The unfortunate thing about this team is 2 of the 3 scouts are Gacha, not to mention that 1 scout is a limited scout, so if you want Kohaku's Secret Swan card, then you need to get it when it comes out. And the fact that, unfortunately, Rine's tour event card is pretty weak. But outside of that, there is also a 2 out of 4 team comp for the Performance main stat team with FS2 Rine and SSR 6th stage Kohaku. And unfortunately for the green team, Medu is the odd one out. Okay, but that is it for the CrazyB team comps. CrazyB has very interesting team comps because CrazyB has a lot of 3 out of 4 team comps compared to, honestly, a lot of the other units. For the blue team, we have a Performance main stat team with FS Himedu, Anti Kohaku, and Honeycomb Summer Nikki. For the yellow team, we have a Dance main team with Flambe Rine, B Kohaku, and Sweet Hunt Nikki. And then for the green team, you'll have a Vocal main stat team of Nightclub Rine, Secret Song Kohaku, and FS Nikki. And even outside of that, the red team has a lot of 2-man team comp for every single main stat. And there's just a lot of different combinations for CrazyB to have compared to a lot of the other units that I've seen before. So it was honestly a little shocking seeing that CrazyB synergizes so well with each other. Also, I was a little surprised that Rine has a lot of cards, but he got a lot of cards recently compared to before, which is why people call him the unfavorite child of Happy Elements, because he just didn't get a card for a long time and then bam, he just got a bunch of cards all at once. And honestly, I thought Kohaku had more cards because he is the favorite child of Happy Elements in my opinion. But he still has 7 cards total, so that's a lot for a non-leader member, especially from a 4-member unit. But that is it for the CrazyB video. So we're finally done with the Cosbro part of this series, and next we're going to start with the Rhythm Link portion with Undead. But hopefully this video was helpful for you. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to put it down below, and hope you have a good day or night wherever you are. I'll see y'all next time, and yeah, so peace.